Hi, welcome to Pages with Sidra here. I bring you the novels behind your favorite manga, manhwa, and manhua, whether by translating or simply reading them for you. Let's dive into the stories that inspire the comics we all love. I got a cheat ability in a different world and become extraordinary even in the real world. Ball 11 Chapter 4, Heaven. Part 1. A few days after the school festival was over, I continued my training with Knight and the others in the other world, preparing for when Lanel-san would come to pick me up. Then I felt a familiar presence approaching my house. Is this Cyrus-san and the others? Astonished. Yuya, how did you recognize them? It was something I suddenly said unconsciously, but Yudi, who was training with me, was surprised by my words. Cha. Now that you mention it, how did I recognize the presence? I didn't even activate my presence detection skill. As I was surprised at what I had done, Ama-san, who had been watching our training, told me with a yawn. Phew, I guess that means Yuya has become strong enough to reach that state. It is indeed true that skill exists as a mechanism in this world, but it is naturally possible to acquire such power even if it is not in the form of skill. You know that now, don't you? That's right. Certainly, Zenova-san's strength was a strength that was far removed from the laws of this world, and so on it's impossible to call that as a skill. So, it must really mean that I've become able to detect nearby signs without any skill, just as Ama-san said. I never thought I would reach such a state of mind, and while I was stunned, Iris-san and the others appeared. Yuya-kun, it's been a long time. Have you been training properly? Few running is tiring after all. Hey, everyone. It's been a while, and now that you're all here, it means. Yuya-san. Ah. I felt a familiar presence approaching from the sky above me, and when I turned my head to look, I saw Lanil-san falling from the sky. Lanil-san adjusted her stance before she reached the ground and quietly landed on her feet. Lanil has arrived. Ayahahaha. Lanil-san was as energetic as ever, and while smiling, I asked her. The fact that Iris-san and the others came to this place like this means that. Yes. The upper dimensional world, the heavenly realm, is ready and you all are authorized, so I am here to pick you up. So we can finally fight against the false god. By the way, how are we going to get to the heavenly realm? Do you use magic or something? When Odi-sen asked that, Lanil-sen smirked. It's not the same as magic, but moving to the heavenly realm is instantaneous, you know. See? Woof. Hugo. The moment Lanil-sen snapped her fingers, the view we were in changed in an instant. It was a strange place, whether it was above the sky or above the clouds. The surroundings were as dim as dawn, with stars twinkling and constantly streaming in the sky above us. There was a white haze around our feet as if we were above the clouds, and the ground could not be seen. The sensation in my feet was strange, and although I was supposed to be standing in place, I felt as if I were floating in the air. When I was surprised by the sudden change, Odi-sen shouted, This is what in the world has happened. I didn't even feel the flow of magic. Yes. As Odi-sen said, it was not magic, but the observer's divine authority that made the transition. Divine authority? While tilting my head at the mysterious word, I suddenly detected a number of strong presences appearing in our vicinity. Exclamation. Everyone. Those over there are the observers. When we turned our eyes toward the presences, we saw several men and women standing there, dressed in togas like those worn in ancient Rome. They had blonde hair and blue eyes, and their atmosphere was somewhat godlike, giving off an aura of floating in the air. Everyone, including myself, was startled by the presence that appeared before us, and the woman at the center of the group spoke. Welcome, people from different worlds. The woman had a particularly divine aura among this group, and I could somehow guess that she was the leader of this group. I am one of the observers. My name is Dee. Welcome to the heavenly realm. This is how we encountered the observers. This is our current situation. After being introduced by one of the observers, D-san, we moved to another location as D-san snapped her fingers. There was a large round table with chairs arranged around it. We sat there and were told about the current situation between the observers and the false god. According to D-San's story, people like Lanil-san, in other words, the Apostle, are still fighting against the sentinels of the false god, but the number of the enemy is so great that they are gradually being pushed back. And as for the main body of the false god, the observers have not yet been able to confirm their appearance. There is no existence that we cannot observe under normal circumstances. But the false god is different. Even with our power, it is impossible for us to observe their existence. You say that the false god is unobservable, but does the false god really exist? There is no doubt about that. The false god's sentinel cannot be born without the false god. In other words, as long as the sentinels of the false god exist, the false god, which is the origin of the sentinels, must also be hiding somewhere. I see. Then Master Yuzaki, who had been listening to D-San's explanation, asked something without hesitation. If the observer camp loses the battle against the false god, what will be the consequence? What? You say we will lose? The observers in the surroundings were all in a panic because of his clear statement. However, when D-San immediately raised her hand, they stopped their murderous intent. That question is reasonable. If the false god is to win this battle, not only this world, the heavenly realm, but also the world in which you live, would be reduced to nothing. I never knew that such a level of development was underway. Once again, the danger of the false god was conveyed more clearly by the fact that the observers, who are amazing people from my point of view, talked so much about the false god. That is why, in fact, this battle is not only about us but also about you. However, it is also true that the false god is powerful. If we ask you to participate in the battle, we cannot guarantee your safety. But will you still lend us your hand? We looked at each other and nodded. If there's anything we can do to help. I still don't agree with it. Suddenly, one of the observers, who had been listening in silence, spoke up. Gwen, you should understand their sentiments. Yes, I understand that, of course. But I don't think the presence of those from the lower worlds will make any difference to the situation in the fight against the false gods, will it? What do you mean? Iris-san responded to one of the observers who blatantly and condescendingly announced so. However, that observer did not seem particularly intimidated but rather continued his words in a condescending manner. What do you have to complain about? All I did was state the facts. If you just keep your mouth shut and listen, we're saying we'll help you because you're unworthy. You are of no use against the false god. Gwen, that's enough. D-San rebuked the agitated observer, but the other observers also raised their voices in sympathy with the observer called Gwen. No, D-sama. We are of the same opinion as Gwen. Yes, indeed, we do not have enough hands. But even if that were the case, I don't think that a mere existence from a lower world would be able to help us. Let me tell you, you have a lot of nerve. Finally, Odi-san also expressed his anger, and the atmosphere became completely awkward, and I panicked. Everyone, please calm down. There is no way we can calm down. Whether they are observers or not, they just say whatever they want. Absolutely. Maybe we should show them a little of what we can do. I'm already baffled by the three of them, who are already motivated, and Yudi tugged at my clothes. Useless. The holy has high self-esteem. That's because they've been working out that much. That may be true, but I don't think we should be fighting here when we're about to fight together. Then Alma-san, who had looked uninterested until now, laughed amusedly. Kyukuku, isn't it good? I think they should know what you're capable of once and for all, don't you? Woof. What? Hey, why are you hitting me? As if to stir up the pot, Alma-san was scolded by the knight by slapping him. However, perhaps in response to Alma-san's words, D-san pondered for a bit and then let out a sigh. It can't be helped. It is certainly better to see each other's abilities once in order to get to know each other. Is that okay with Gwen and everyone else? Of course. Yes, no problem. Are we really going to fight? Just accept it. You have no choice about it. Seriously. No matter what I said, there was no indication that it would be changed, and we ended up having a contest with Gwen-san, the observer. When Yuya and the others decided to compete with Gwen in the heavenly realm, Kamiyama was having a hard time contemplating in the Nide Academy on Earth. I never thought that our academy would lose. The school festival battle between Nide Academy and Aosei Academy ended in a victory for Aosei Academy, which drew more visitors than Nide Academy. Despite all the publicity, no way. In fact, the Nide Academy had prepared for the festival by advertising in all kinds of media. Of course, it was safe to say that not only the publicity but also the contents of the school festival were among the most spectacular of all time. But even so, they still lost. Moreover, Aosei Academy did not do any special publicity. However, the number of visitors increased dramatically due to the buzz generated by the live streaming by a well-known vlogger. More importantly, Yuya Tenju was featured in the vlog. I didn't know he had this much influence. Well, he was actually an extraordinary man. Kamiyama muttered as he recalled Yuya. Then she looked frustrated. This time, our school lost, but that doesn't mean we have given up. If I have the chance, I will definitely take you. Kamiyama was filled with such determination. In Part 2. At this different world, in the heavenly realm where Yuya and the others had set foot. The moment D-san snapped her fingers, we had moved to another location. The surrounding scenery was the same again, but there was an arena-like ground set up there. Perhaps we would fight here. Then, Gwen-san was the first to stand inside the arena and look at us. I'm ready anytime. Well then, I'll be the first. What are you talking about? You three, come at me at once. Huh? While we were all stunned by this unexpected declaration, only the observers remained silent, as if it were a matter of course. Did I mishear you? 3 people at the same time, you say? Are the lower world beings deaf as well? I said the 3 of you should all come at me at the same time. Gwen-san said condescendingly. In the next instant, dense killing intents are emitted from Iris-san, Master Yuzaki, and Odi-san's bodies. NYX translations. I don't know how great you observers are, but you're going to regret those words. Then, as the 3 of them faced Gwen-san, Master Yuzaki made the first move. 3 divine walking techniques. He approached Gwen-san and at the same time he released a heel drop to the top of his head. And then, in time with Master Rabbit's attack, Iris-san quickly drew her sword. Heavenly Saint slash. She unleashed a slash that was wrapped in holy aura in a horizontal slash. This is the end destruction magic. And then Odi-san's magic attack was added to the mix, and everything struck Gwen-san with perfect timing. This was indeed a tough attack, even if the observers are amazing beings. That's what I thought, but none of the observers, including D-san, were panicking. Is this the best you people can do? Amazingly, Gwen-san lightly avoided the 3's attack. No way, how could Master Yuzagi and the others' attacks possibly not get through? I was surprised at Gwen-san's unexpected ability, but Iris-san and the others remained calm. Well, no surprise. Rather, it'd be a problem if you were to be knocked down by an attack like the one you've just had. Yes, that's right. As I thought, it was worth training with the other holy. Well, I've already learned my lesson. The 3 of them calmly told him that, and Gwen-san grimaced. What? Are you trying to tell me that you haven't gotten serious yet? Yes, that's my intention. So be prepared. Exclamation. The moment Iris-san said that, her body was covered with magic power. It seemed to be exactly the same magic armor I used. Iris-san, you were able to use enhancement magic? I had never seen Iris-san use magic in battle before, so when I was surprised by that, Master Yuzaki, who had also enhanced his physical abilities with magic power, jumped out. Iris wasn't the only one who wasn't taking it seriously. Wah! Master Yuzagi leaped up into the air and swung his leg down at Gwen-san in a heel drop motion. What the heck is that? Even the heel drop, which was swung down with tremendous force, seemed to be easily avoided by Gwen-san, but to my surprise, Master Yuzagi's attack was not finished there. Kicking Saint's slash, you won't be able to avoid it so easily. Master Yuzagi released a slash like the heavenly sacred slash that Iris-san, the sword saint, had just released at Gwen-san. Don't think that my magic is the same as before. Holy magic ball of destruction. As Gwen-san tried to avoid Master Yuzagi's slash that flew after him, Odi-san's magic attacked him. The magic was a dense mass of magical power, just like the destruction magic he had just unleashed, but the difference was that the holy power flowed into the mass. As soon as the mass of magic was released, it split into countless branches, some like slashes and some like bullets, surrounding Gwen-san. With this, there is no escape. HMPH. No matter how many moves you make, there is no way you can stop. Really? Exclamation. In a moment. Iris-sen's body, strengthened by the magic power, showed such speed that you would think she had disappeared, and by the time you realized it, she was in front of Gwen-san. As I was astonished at how fast she moved, Yudi, who also looked astonished and gasped. Astonished. All three of them have adopted the techniques of the other holy and are getting stronger. I see. It seems that Master Uzagi and the others have become even stronger by absorbing each other's techniques. I think the battle is as good as decided, isn't it? Iris-san was already in range of Gwen-san, and he was surrounded by the magic of Master Uzagi and Odi-san. There was no way he could escape, no matter how you look at it. And Iris-san and the others, convinced of their victory, unleashed the finishing blow. What? Is this all you got? Wah. Gwen-san didn't even move his eyes. He caught Iris-san's oncoming fist with one hand and threw her towards Master Uzagi and Odi-san's magic. Iris-san tried to adjust her stance, but the force of Gwen-san's throw was so strong that she couldn't move properly and collided with a kicking saint slash. Iris. Moreover, Iris-san flew straight ahead and collided heavily with Odi-san, who had just released a magic spell. Kaha. Ka. Iris, Odis. Gwen-san hardly moved from the spot, and after rendering both Iris-san and Odi-san incapable of combat, he appeared behind Master Uzagi in the next instant. Is this the time to be worrying about others? Exclamation. Master Uzagi reflexively took a stance and assumed a defensive posture, but Gwen-san lightly punched him on top of his defense. Just with that, a shock so strong that even a casual viewer could see it, pierced through Master Uzagi's body. Kaha. Master Uzagi collapses to his knees. In just a few moments, the three of them were rendered incapable of fighting. And no way. Astonished. It's unbelievable. Both Yudi and I couldn't believe what we were seeing, and Gwen-san looked at us as if he was truly disappointed. Ha, for all your bravado, you couldn't do anything about it, could you? That is why I told you. It is true that our strength is not enough, but we have no need to ask for help from beings of the lower worlds like you who cannot even handle divine authority. Know your place. Master Uzagi and the others managed to get up, but none of them could say anything back to Gwen-san's words. Even though the three of them had attacked seriously, Gwen-san was not serious at all. The difference in power between the three holy and Gwen-san was that obvious. Then, Gwen-san turned his attention to D-sen and the others. D-sama, what do you think? Do you still want to borrow power from the beings of the lower worlds? Even if they were to join the fight against the false gods, they would just perish without being able to do anything about it. That is why I have been against it from the very beginning. But there are examples like the sage. What about the sage? In the end, he who doesn't even show up is just a coward. No, in the first place, it is doubtful whether he even has the same power as us. After all, he is just another being from a lower world. Gwen-san turned his attention to me. That human there says he's a replacement for the sage, but he's no different. Even the sage is nothing more than a small fry cowardly scumbag who can do nothing but squat in the lower worlds. Take it back. What? I found myself stepping forward. My actions startled Yudi, who had been silent next to me, and she was staring at me. Stop. Yuya, stop. We are no match for him. He's controlling some strange power. No, that has nothing to do with it. Gwen-san, please correct it. When I told him that clearly and clearly again, he looked at me as if he was truly bothered by the situation. What do you want me to correct? I was just stating a fact, wasn't I? No, you didn't. Xenovis-san is neither a coward nor a scumbag. He was alone his whole life because of his overly powerful strength. However, Xenovis-san also fought against the evil alone for the sake of humanity and the world without anyone's knowledge, and he also ended the space war. For him, living a normal life as a human being was what he wanted more than anything else, and it was the one thing he could not achieve. He just wanted to live a normal life, and it is unforgivable to call him a coward or a scumbag. So take it back. Why should I listen to the words of a being from a lower world like you? If you are so frustrated, let me see what you are capable of. I understand. Yuya. When I nodded to Gwen-san's words, Yuri hurriedly tried to stop me. But Alma-san stopped her. Well, wait. But Alma-san. It's going to be interesting. Let him try it like this. Interesting, you say? However, although Alma-san said so, he did not seem calm hearing Gwen-san make fun of Zenova-san, and he continued his words with a serious expression on his face. Yuya, don't lose, okay? Yes. I pulled myself together and went into the arena too, and first went to take care of Iris-san and the others. Yuya-kan. I'll take care of the rest. Then, I took Iris-san and the others and placed them under Akatsuki's care. Akatsuki, take care of the three of them. Fugo. Knight and Seal, can you watch them too? Woof. Pei. Thank you. I left the three of them with my family members and faced Gwen-san once again. The beings of the lower world must be foolish. The end is already in sight. Well, that's okay. I'm going to show you that you're wrong. Come on, come at me however you like. Gwen-san said this in a disinterested manner as if he already knew the outcome of the battle. Then, I took out a weapon from my item box. At that moment, Gwen-san's expression changed. What are you doing? What I took out was a plain wooden sword that I had used in my training with Zenova-san. Ignoring Gwen-san's question, I quietly held the wooden sword in front of my eyes, having applied all possible physical enhancements, including magic armor, holy king authority, and holy evil creation. Answer me. What in the world are? Exclamation. The first step. With that, I closed the distance between us and just swung the wooden sword mindlessly. Don't you dare underestimate me. Then, Gwen-san put a strange aura around his arm and tried to block my wooden sword. But, Gwen, you can't block that. Wah. D-san shouted in a panic to Gwen-san, who was trying to block my attack, but it was already too late. My wooden sword sliced through Gwen-san's aura and reached his arm. However, Gwen-san also noticed something unusual when his aura was slashed, and he instantly distanced himself from me with a special power, just like how he had instantly closed the distance to Master Yuzaki before. What the hell is going on? For Gwen-san, it was apparently very unbelievable that his aura, which had cloaked his body, had been cut through. It was the first time I had seen an observer clearly upset since I came to this realm, and now I was thinking about something else. He's distanced himself from me. What would I do then? What would Zenova-san say at this point? Distance can be slashed. That would be such a screwed up word to come back to me. While smiling unintentionally, my body was unconsciously trying to realize those words. What? Exclamation. Exclamation. The moment I swung my sword carelessly, a huge slash flew toward Gwen-san. What the hell is this guy? Gwen-san avoided the slash and then wrapped his arms in the aura and swung them in a cross motion. Then, the aura attacked me in the form of a slash. Slash. But still, what I do is the same. I just simply slashed. That is all. As I continued to slice through the countless auras Gwen-san sent flying at me, I felt my vision and the sounds around me gradually fade away, just as I did when I fought that false dragon. I turned my attention only to Gwen-san, who was right in front of me and closed the distance between us. However, Gwen-san could not simply sit back and let me close the distance, and he was using his special technique to evade me by instantly warping from one place to another. How dare you, a mere being of a lower world, come this close to me? But it is impossible for you to catch me. Indeed, it would be difficult to capture Gwen-san, who was moving instantaneously with his mysterious power. However, I, who am now concentrated to the utmost limit, unconsciously sense where Gwen-san is going to move to next. Perhaps this was from my sharpened senses and attack precisely. What? Gwen-san tried to use his aura to defend himself against my attacks, but I cut through all of them and finally cornered him with myself holding the wooden sword to his throat. Ha ha, ridiculous. Gwen-san gasped and stared at my wooden sword. I quietly opened my mouth, feeling my vision and the sounds around me returning to normal. This is the power of the sage you made fun of. What the hell? Do you still want to continue this battle? I asked, and Gwen-san shook his head with a frustrated look on his face. No, I lost. The moment Gwen-san admitted defeat, I heard the sound of applause. I looked in that direction and saw D-san smiling. That's wonderful. So this is the power of the sage. Surely, if you're good enough to defeat Gwen, then you're a force to be reckoned with. But what about those three? They may not be of any use to us at this stage. No, it's terrible to compare them to us, but for someone from a lower world, they do have something to offer. If they receive divine authority and train themselves, they can at least deal with the sentinels. Apparently, not only me but also Iris-san and the others were able to meet the observers' expectations. Then D-san clapped her hands once. Silence. It seems that there is no problem accepting you as our friends. However, it is also true that you are not yet enough to fight against the false gods. Therefore, I would like you all to once undergo training here in the heavenly realm. Training? Iris-san, who had recovered her strength thanks to Akatsuki's sanctuary skill, tilted her head quizzically. Yes. The three of you must have learned the hard way that your abilities are far below the level of us observers, right? TCH, it's frustrating. But I've already trained for this. The fact that they were unable to do anything at all against Gwen-san, Iris-san, and the others distorted their faces in frustration. So, of course, it is necessary for you to train more to develop your abilities, but there is one more power that you absolutely must acquire in order to fight against the false gods. What is it? This. What D-san expressed from her body was a mysterious aura that Gwen-san had used earlier in the battle. The aura shone in rainbow colors and shimmered divinely. This is the power called Divine Authority. Divine Authority? Yes. It can be used in a wide variety of ways. It can be sent out as an attack, like a slash, or it can be wrapped around something to increase its strength. If you completely wrap yourself in Divine Authority, you can move instantaneously and use it for evasion. In other words, it seems that all of Gwen-san's special movement methods were based on this power of Divine Authority. And if you don't use this power in your attacks, you won't even be able to injure the false god with a single scratch. Wah. That's why I need you all to acquire this power. That's something that can be acquired through ordinary training. No, it is not something that can be acquired so easily. In any case, this power is originally usable only by us, the observers. It is impossible for those in the lower world to acquire it through ordinary training. Then what should we do? From what I've heard, it doesn't sound like a power we could ever acquire. But I had never thought that without this power, it would be impossible even to damage the false god, so as long as we are going into battle, we must get it. I thought that it would require very severe training. I ask you all to quit being human. The words I had not expected to hear were uttered from D-san's mouth. I got a cheat ability in a different world and become extraordinary even in the real world. Vol 11 Chapter 4, Heaven Part 3. While Yuya and the others were testing their strength in the heavenly realm, Lexia and Luna, who had received permission from her father, King Arnold, were moving forward with their plan to study abroad in the world where Yuya was living. As Lexia walked down the castle's corridor in high spirits, Owen looked at her strangely. Then Lexia noticed Owen and immediately gave him an order. Owen, let's go to the Great Devil's Nest. Huh? The remark was so out of the blue that it made Owen freeze. But Lexia did not seem to mind and continued. The sooner, the better, you know. We have to leave as soon as possible. Wait a minute. I won't wait. We've got to get ready now. Alexia-sama. Ha, I can't wait to see what's ahead of us. Luna sighed in vain as she walked behind Lexia, and Owen was forced to head for the Great Devil's Nest without knowing anything about the situation. Then the scene was once again set in the heavenly realm. This is our base. Oh. A few moments after D-San's shocking words, we went to visit the base of the observers. Normally, we could move around in an instant with D-San and her group's divine authority, but they went out of their way to make us move around on foot so that we could see as much of this world as possible. The scenery of this town of these observers was very simple, with only a few small houses dotting the streets, just like Kamakura houses. There were no distinctive buildings, nor were there any vehicles coming and going. It was really just a row of houses that looked like Kamakura houses. It was very fantastic with the surrounding atmosphere, but I was a little surprised because I expected the observers to be living in a more amazing place. Perhaps sensing my feelings, Gwen-san, who had been assigned to show us around, told us. From your perspective, it looks like a simple town, doesn't it? That's right. But that is from the perspective of those in the lower worlds, where it takes a lot of effort to get something. We can create anything we want. For example, tell me what you want. Even if I suddenly asked for something I wanted. What do I want? A TV. After all, we don't have a TV in our house on Earth. Oh, by the way, we must have run out of eggs, and I want some eggs too. I'll have to go buy some when I get back. As I recall the things I need for daily life on Earth, Gwen-sen gave me a subtle look. How should I put it? Even though you're from the lower world, you're strangely ordinary. Is that so? Well, that's fine. Just watch. After saying that, Gwen-sen stuck out his right hand. The next moment, the divine authority explained early by D-sen appeared on Gwen's right palm. It shook greatly and transformed into a huge flat-screen TV. A truly mysterious power. While everyone was amazed at Gwen-san's power, he continued indifferently. This is the power of the divine authority, the power of us observers. Because of this power, we can create anything we need. Hence, we don't need things. Why you can create anything, you say? Even human beings? When Iris-san asked this, Gwen-san tilted his head in wonder. Why do you think it can't be created? What? Come to think of it, neither your world of Argina nor the Earth was directly created by us. However, there are countless worlds in this world that we observers have created from scratch. It is observers like us who have created the great ancestors of the human beings who now live there. Besides, we do not have the same basic needs as you do. You mean, like appetite? Yes. Therefore, we do not need entertainment, we do not need to eat or sleep. We don't need to reproduce, and we only create our mates with our divine authority. There is no concept of lifespan. Perhaps that is why you call us gods. I see, so you are indeed gods. There was no way we could win from the beginning. When Odi-san recalled the battle with Gwen-san and had a bitter look on his face, Iris-san came up to me as if she had just remembered. I mean, Yuya-kun, you won against this godlike being, didn't you? When did you become so strong? Speaking of which, I never thought you'd become that strong, no matter how much I told you to train yourself. Rather, you were strong enough to make us, the holy, lose face. Iris-san and the others, including Yudi and Gwen-san, asked me with interest. Interested? Yuya, you were sent to the past world after the attack of the evil cult, and as soon as you came back from there, you became abnormally strong. I'd like to know about that too. How did you get that much power while being from a lower world? It's a long story, but I once again told them about my experiences in the past world. Lanil-san had explained briefly to them before, but she had kept quiet about the fact that I had defeated the false dragon with Sage-san because it was difficult to explain such things, as the information had already been erased from the world. But this time, when I revealed that as well, they were all appalled. Why, you met the sage. And that he had trained you? There were 2 Genesis dragons? I never thought that even my memory was being manipulated. While each of them was shocked by other matters, Gwen-san was also greatly shocked. Is the sage you speak of that much of a person? Yes. The reason I was able to defeat the false dragon and Gwen-san was all thanks to Sage-san Zenova-san. From Gwen-san's point of view, it would not be very believable. Now that I have been shown the divine authority that I just saw, I can understand why observers are called gods. It must be very hard to believe that there are beings in the lower world who are as powerful as or more powerful than such observers. I know that I've met him directly, but as for Zenova-san, I feel that it's useless to think about this or that. Astonished. I'm surprised that you would say that much, right? Woof. Fugo. Pai. Yudi asked, and Knight and the others nodded. Anyway, Zenova-san is an amazing person. Then he should help us all the more. Well, from Gwen-san's perspective, it must be painful not to be able to borrow Sage-san's help. Of course, we can't do as much as Zenova-san, but we'll do our best too. No, I don't blame you, Yudono. Putting the rest aside, just being able to borrow Yudono's help is a big deal. Don't you think that the way you say it is kind of annoying? We respect those who have the ability, hence I am just stating the facts. I'll make sure to shut you up. While Iris-san was getting determined to fight against Gwen-san's words, Odi-san suddenly asked him something that was bothering him. By the way, your leader, Didono, told us to quit being human, but is that to acquire divine authority? Or are we to become observers like you? See, certainly, if we were to acquire divine authority, we would be able to handle it like Gwen-san. It would be a terrible thing. First of all, we wouldn't have to worry about daily necessities. If we run out, we can just create them. And with the way he talks, he could produce foodstuffs and really live without having to go outside the house. Somehow, my thought process reeks of common people, but I shouldn't be concerned about that. Anyway, there is a possibility that we can obtain power that is too heavy for human beings. Gwen-san shook his head. No, as expected, even if you obtain divine authority through this training, you won't be able to obtain the power of an observer like us. Is that so? Yeah. No matter how much you deviate from being a human, you are still a lower world being. Therefore, it is impossible to escape the laws of the lower world. But even so, you can acquire enough divine authority to inflict a wound on a false god. I see. So, although it is not as applicable as Gwen-san's group, it is possible to acquire the power to use it as a fighting force. Or rather, now that I think about it, status-wise, I'm not a human, but a transcendent species, which is a mysterious species. I feel like I've already quit being human, but I never thought I'd quit being human in earnest with this training. After walking around the city for a while, we reached a particular house. This is the house you will be using. It was a pure white house, just like everything else around it. When I touched it with my hand, I felt a strange sensation. Moreover, although it looked small from the outside, when we entered the house, we found that the space inside was quite large, and there were even rooms set for each member of our group. This must be another special space created by the divine authority. I suddenly activated my identification skill, but nothing was displayed. As a matter of fact, I don't think the laws of your world will apply in this world. Why, yes. It seemed that he knew I had used my skills and warned me. Nevertheless, you can use the laws that work on yourselves. It's engraved in your body. I see. So that's why I could activate holy evil creation or magic armor. As each of us looked around the house, Gwen-san called out. Tomorrow, you will undergo the trial for renouncing your human nature. By the way, no matter how long you spend in this world, you will never age, but rather you will grow in your present state. That is how different the flow of time and the load on the body is in comparing your world and the heavenly realm. And if you can successfully win the battle against the false gods, we will return you to the time you came here. That would be much appreciated. I knew from my reunion with Lanelsan that the flow of time was different, but I was relieved when it was explained again. It would be no laughing matter if I could win against a false god, but when I returned to the original world, it would be 100 years later. Anyway, get some rest today in preparation for tomorrow. See you later. After saying that, Gwen-san left. How should I put it? He's really a businesslike person, isn't he? Well, we are not here to get acquainted with each other. Isn't that fine? That's true, but we were told that our bodies would stop aging, but it appears that we're not hungry either. Oh, now that you mention it. Since I had moved quite a bit in the previous battle, it would not be surprising if I was hungry, but I did not feel particularly hungry, as if I were in a state of fullness, and it did not seem to matter if I ate or not at this point. I wonder if we really need to sleep as well. When Odi-san mentioned this, Alma-san, who had been sleeping at his own pace since he came to this world, opened his mouth. Phew, why you can sleep if you want to. Just like that guy said, you have a lot of things to do tomorrow, don't you? I think you should focus on getting some rest instead of thinking about this and that right now. With Fugo. Pei. Knight and the others looked at Almasen, dumbfounded, but Almasen fell asleep again without paying attention to them. Well, putting aside Almasan himself, I think what he is saying is right, so let's rest for the time being. Affirmative. I'll take a look at the room. Right. Suggestion. Yuya. Eh? While I was thinking that each of us would be resting in our respective rooms, Yudi told me with a serious expression on her face. Rest. I don't feel sleepy, but I need rest. So let me use Yuya's bath. Bath? Ara, Yuya, you have such a useful item. If that's the case, since you have it, let's use it. The unexpected turn of events surprised everyone, and they all ended up taking a bath before going to bed altogether. This is the first time for Yudi-chan and me to spend time together alone like this, isn't it? Affirmative. After Yuya prepared the bath, Yudi took a bath with Iris as the ladies took the first bath. Originally, Yudi came to live at Yuya's house and started taking baths there habitually, and before she knew it, she had come to like the idea of taking baths. Seeing Yudi relaxing slowly, Iris smiles and looks a little sad. It would have been better if she had been here, too. Iris was referring to the Bo Saint who had been Yudi's master, and Yudi understood immediately that she was talking about her. Then Iris bowed her head to Yudi. I am sorry. When your master was in trouble, we couldn't do anything about it. That's why you are. Stop. That's enough. Yudi says quietly. Useless. Master is dead and I tried to destroy the world. No matter what I say, the past will never change. Yudi is right. Even if Iris apologizes here, Yudi's master will not come back, and Yudi herself cannot undo her own mistakes. However, change. Before, I wanted to take revenge on this world that abandoned my master. But Yuya accepted me like that. It is true that my heart is still painful and I cannot forgive those who betrayed my master. But I know that I'm not the only one like that now. It's okay. I see. Iris smiled gently at Yudi, who looked straight ahead. All right. Then onsen will wash your back, Yudi-chan. Excited. Please do. I'll wash Iris's back, too. Thus, Yudi and Iris enjoyed the bath while deepening their friendship. Meanwhile, Yuya and the others bathed after Iris and Yudi, but... With... Fugo tilde. Pi tilde. There was an indescribable feeling in the air. Both Yuzagi and Odis were immersed in the bathtub, silent, not moving a muscle. Unable to bear this situation, Yuya finally opened his mouth. Would you like me to wash your backs? You don't have to be concerned about it. And no, I'll wash Knight and the others, too, anyway. Is that so? Then, please. Yes, please do me too. When Yuya and the others got out of the bath, they each chose a room and rested their bodies in preparation for tomorrow. Thank you for watching Pages with Sidra. I hope you enjoyed this chapter of I got a cheat ability in a different world, and became extraordinary even in the real world. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more volumes and novels. Let's keep exploring these amazing stories together. See you in the next one.